What is the true cost of inaction? Because lots of people have lots of objections about investing in themselves. Costs too much. I can't afford it. Oh, I've just got to save up a bit of money. I'll get to it in the New Year's. I'll quit drinking 2022. I'm closer to the start of the year now. I'll just get through this holiday period. Inaction, inaction, inaction. What is the cost of that? Let me tell you something. It's often, and probably in most cases, considerably more than whatever the price of getting coaching and accountability and support is. But yet, people continue not to take action. I'm guilty of it. I've been guilty of procrastinating, thinking about things, doing the pros and cons, worrying about my finances, worrying about whether it's the right thing to do or the wrong thing to do, and trying to find the perfect time, blah, 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 blah. Meanwhile, life just keeps going. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. The cost of inaction when it comes to alcohol is a divorce in many cases. It's failing health. It's strained relationships with children. In an extreme case, it could be getting fired from your job. Could be not getting a bonus. It could be being passed over. It could mean that your business stays stagnant or even worse, goes backwards. So how long are you going to drink for? How long are you going to keep procrastinating on getting some support and some help? People always, it's unbelievable. It's like it's a human affliction. Human beings love to say, I can't afford that. How about you just change it from I can't afford that to how can I afford that? Or how can I not afford to do that? Because there's a cost of doing nothing and staying in the norm. And the cost, like I said, as an example, is get a divorce. Your cholesterol level gets so high, or your triglyceride levels get so high that now you have to go to hospital. Or now you've got to be on medication. Now you're addicted to prescription drugs the rest of your life. Or the cost of inaction of having that conversation with your husband or wife that you've been avoiding for months or years is you're like ships passing in the night. There's no intimacy, there's no connection, there's frustration and irritation. Inaction, 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 doing nothing, nothing, nothing. Get to it later. Tick tock, tick tock. Father Time remains undefeated. We can't beat time. It's just ticking away. As I'm recording this, I'm almost 46. I'll be 46 shortly, a couple of weeks. And I reflect on my life often. I journal in my Positive Shift journal. You can check that out, by the way, positiveshiftjournal.com. And if you care to get the hard copy version of it, then you can use the code James and it'll give you a little discount. There's also a free version you can download from the website as well. So you can just print it out yourself and use it if you don't want to get the hard copy. So there's a free version and then there's a paid hard copy version. But I've been journaling a lot. And one of the questions it asked me is, what are the things that you want to do today? How are you going to step into this new future you today? So it gets you thinking about the future. But in writing about the future, I also ponder the past. And I think, man, I really wanted to buy a whole bunch of real estate, but I'm 46 and I haven't bought a whole bunch of real estate because I keep procrastinating on it. Procrastinating. Now, I have invested in other things. I've invested in private businesses and invested in my existing businesses. I've invested in stock market and a few other things. But I've been saying for 5 years, buy real estate. Just buy one real estate. I mean, I used to have property back in Australia. I had two properties, and I did quite well out of them. I sold them, but then I haven't owned property for many years. But for 5 years, I've been saying buy property. And the other day, I reached out to a property investor friend of mine, and I realized that there was an email there from 5 years ago. So 5 years ago, I had a conversation with this person about possibly investing and buying some property in around the Memphis, Tennessee area with him. And I was shocked to see that it was 2016 when I last explored this. And from 2016 until now, I did absolutely nothing, did not pursue it. And now here I am 5 years later having the same conversation, but properties prices have gone up there. I'll be paying more for it. 5 years have passed, just like that, bang, because I procrastinated. If you're one of my regular listeners on this show, chances are that you are procrastinating about investing in quitting drinking. Oh, it's too much. I can't afford it. Oh, man, what if I fail? If I spend the money, if I invest the money and then I drink, then I'll really be broken. And so what do you do instead? Nothing. Keep drinking. Say I'll get to it next week or next month. Next year. Same thing, same pattern over and over and over again. Inaction, the cost of inaction. It's not the cost of acting or action. It's the cost of inaction. So I'll give you another example. Some years ago, I just made a choice. I said, I'm going to start investing in getting coaching. And I hated the idea of paying $150 an hour to a therapist. Oh, it's painful. $600 a month to talk to a professional person about stuff that's going on in my life. I'm like, $600 a month? Whoa, what could I do with that $600? It's crazy that I'd spend that kind of money on a therapist. Maybe I can find someone cheaper. That's what I'll do. I'll find someone cheaper. Or you know what? I'll just get a journal. Well, you know what? I'll just talk to my friends and I'll just save the money that way and whatever. I mean, I used to just save the money, cut costs all the time. Anyway, I finally invested in a coach and a therapist, and it was amazing. And it was amazing because it helped me to get out of my own way where I was getting stuck. And it helped me to grow this very business, this podcast that you're listening to now, because I was stuck and I was like, can I do it? Can I not do it? I don't think I should do it. I'll get to it later. Why would people want to listen to me? Should I really be helping people quit drinking? All these kind of doubts, self-judgment, all this kind of stuff came into my mind. But talking it through with the therapist helped me to get rid of the clutter, get rid of the nonsense in my brain, to get clear, to then be able to make my own choice, which is let's proceed, let's do this, let's continue helping people quit drinking, and let's start a podcast, and let's do this, and help me get out of my own way and take action. Now, if you're listening here to the podcast, I can tell you that probably at least 30 or so people have invested in our signature program, Project 90, since I started this podcast a year ago. So that's 30 people's lives have been transformed for the better. They've now got long-term power over alcohol. They've got infinitely better relationships. They're making more money in their businesses or in their jobs. They're healthier. They've lost weight. They're energetic. All these amazing things have happened simply because I started this podcast, and they started listening to it, of course, and then they decided to take action, and they enrolled in the coaching and Project 90, and they took action, and now their lives are transformed. Imagine if I had just stayed stuck in my head, not invested in the coach, and just be like, the podcast, should I do it now? Should I not do it now? You know what? I'll do that 2024. Then these particular folks' lives may not have been transformed. Now, they may have found help elsewhere. I'm not such an egomaniac to think that they could have only transformed their life because of me or because of something they heard on this podcast. But the point is that they listened to the podcast, they took action, they enrolled in Project 90, They got long-term power over their drinking. They lost weight. They took up cycling, or they went to yoga class, or they started eating better, or they started writing that book they'd always dreamed of, or they said, I love you, or they said, I want a divorce, or they reconnected with their kids and they said, I'm sorry, or they had joy and fun, or they took dancing lessons. I mean, these are things I'm not making up. These are all things that people have shared that they've been experiencing as a result of kicking alcohol to the curb inside of our experience, our Project 90 experience. So the cost of inaction, if I hadn't have done this, would have been that those people's lives wouldn't have been changed, and I wouldn't have got to experience and enjoyed watching them transform. And frankly speaking, wouldn't have generated as much revenue in my business because of that as well. So without going into specifics, because it's not too much, it's not about money. I mean, money's just one component of it. There's $100,000 at least of revenue that I would have missed out on in this business had I not just started this podcast and started helping people to transform their lives around alcohol. So relay this into your own life. Where are you holding yourself back by inaction? If you own a business and you are operating at a 5 or 6 out of 10 because of your drinking habits, you're probably leaving hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table. No question. Hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue, probably millions of dollars in revenue, quite frankly. Because if you're operating at an 8 or 9 out of 10 and you're clear and energetic and you've got great strategy and you're just on, then of course your staff are going to be happy. They're going to be more productive. You're going to have breakthroughs in terms of new product lines, getting new clients, getting existing clients to do business with you even more, which equates to hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. But while you continue to drink the way that you've been drinking, living life at a 5 or a 6 out of 10, there is a cost to that. And the cost of your inaction it's like 10 times more than whatever it's going to cost you in coaching or mentorship or therapy or whatever, or joining a gym or whatever it is, getting coaching, getting into a community, whatever the price point of any program or therapy or gym instructor or whatever, like that cost is nothing compared to what it's costing you to do nothing and to stay on this crappy path that you're on. I realize this is coming across as probably a bit tough love at the moment. Maybe some of you need that. I need it. That's why I hire people to give it to me. Do you think my therapist is just like pandering to me the whole time? Oh, that's sad, James. Oh, I get it. Yeah. No, she's challenging me all the time. I've got friends around me who challenge me all the time, who call me out on my bullshit. Excuse my French. Like the excuses that I make, the corners that I cut. There's a cost. And a lot of you are heading for a divorce because you're living life at a 5 or 6 out of 10. A lot of you are heading for a heart attack 10 years before you actually might ordinarily have one. A lot of you are heading towards just a compromised quality of life. The way that medical science is going at the moment, if you can live another 10 years, you should be able to extend your life another 30, right? So that there's medicines now that'll keep us alive another 30 years. But what's the quality of your life going to be like? Do you really want to be alive an additional 30 years and being like a decrepit old man or woman and just being overweight and having all these health problems and looking back on your life and going, ugh, I've really messed up the relationship with my kids. Oh, I didn't build that business I really wanted to build. And I've got this terrible pain in my back. And oh, my triglycerides are through the roof and I don't sleep well and I'm just an irritable, old, crappy person. That sounds pretty damn awful. But that's where a lot of you are headed while you continue to insist on drinking this attractively packaged poison, which society has convinced you is a fun and desirable thing to consume. It's not. It's crap. And you are continuing to live a crappy life while you consume it the way that you consume it. You know you do. I appreciate some of you have might consider yourself to have a somewhat healthy relationship with alcohol. Maybe you just drink on occasion. But why are you even listening to this podcast? Like, why are you even listening to me? If you're listening to me, it's probably because you know that you are drinking too much and you want to either reduce or quit. And maybe you've taken some lessons and maybe you've done a dry July or a dry January, and that's nice. But you're still hanging on. Oh, it's going to be so hard to quit. It's going to be so hard. It's not hard. It's simple when you have the method, when you finally say enough. And nothing creates accountability more than investing in yourself, declaring to a group of people what you're going to do, which in this case is to get attractively packaged poison out of your life, cough up your hard-earned cash, invest in a therapist or a coaching program or a mentorship or whatever. Because that coughing up your hard-earned cash is what holds you accountable. It's a sign of seriousness. It's a symbol of seriousness. Trust me, I remember early 2010s, I was the guy who would always kind of suck up to speakers at conferences in the hope that they would give me a free ticket to go to their conference so I could learn and I could save a few bucks and not have to pay like the $1,000 that sometimes these tickets were. And I went there. I went there for free. They gave me the free tickets and I went there and I learned some stuff, but then I didn't action it. I just felt good about learning the stuff and went pat myself on the back and go, that was great. And that was a fun experience, but I didn't actually really action anything. And I was mucking around for a few years, trying to build a business on my own from free stuff, free programs, free YouTube videos, going to free conferences. I thought I was so clever and so smart that I was learning all this stuff about business, learning how to build a business for free. And yet, after 2 or 3 years of trying on my own, I was really, really struggling. Finally, I met a mentor, a guy called Ty Lopez, who said, pay me $25,000 and I'll mentor you for 18 months. And I was like, $25,000? What? You insane? I didn't say that to him, but that's what I was thinking. Why am I going to invest $25,000 into coaching from someone when I could just go for free to business conferences and watch YouTube videos? But I thought about it. For a couple of weeks, I thought about it. And I was like, trying to do it on my own, I'm making some progress, but it's slow. And I'm making lots of mistakes. And I'm not really pushing as hard as I might push if I had skin in the game. So what I did was I had some money back in my Australian bank account. I was living in the US at the time. And I sent 25,000 American dollars, which is about 32,000 Australian dollars at the time with the conversion rate. And I sent it from my St. George bank account in Brisbane, Australia, to Ty Lopez's Bank of America account in Santa Monica, California, on October 31st, 2013, I think it was, 2013. And my heart was racing and my heart was pounding just before I hit send on the money. And I finally hit send on the money and I sent the money to him. And far from freaking out afterwards, going, I can't believe I just sent $25,000 to someone to be mentored, I actually felt incredibly powerful. I actually felt like, yes, the surge of comfort went through me. It was like, oh, wow, I just made an amazing choice, a powerful choice to invest my cold, hard cash into having somebody show me what to do. And I'll tell you what happened. Because I had invested that money, when he said jump, I said, how high? When he said, we're going to meet Tuesday at 1 p.m., I made sure that I was there at Tuesday, 1 p.m. I didn't say, actually, I've got some stuff on there. Could we do Wednesday 3 instead? No, I did exactly what he told me to do. And part of what he told me to do was or what he invited me to do, is probably a better way of saying it, was to test lots of different things in terms of business. And then I would test things, and then he would look at it, and then he'd review and give me advice. And one of the things that came out of this mentorship, well, there are two big things that came out of this mentorship. One of them was I created this little program called the 30-Day No Alcohol Challenge. It's still alive today. You can go to 30daynoalcoholchallenge.com. I made it $67. And on Super Bowl Sunday 2014, I think it was, maybe it was 2015, I'm not quite sure now, I took my first sale. Somebody bought it. I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. And now, years later, here we are. I'm talking to you on a podcast episode, and we've helped 20,000 people. That little program's turned into Project 90, which has now got lots more bells and whistles, is incredible, much more powerful. It's transformed all these people's lives. And it's amazing. It's incredible. The other thing I did was I started a blue light blocking glasses company. Started this sleep company called Swannick Sleep. You can check it out at swannicksleep.com. If you choose to get a pair of glasses, you can also throw in the code James at checkout. It'll give you a little friends and family discount. Anyway, I started that company in 2015 with the help of Ty's mentorship, because he advised me on what to do, and I listened. And because I'd coughed up $25,000, my hard-earned cash, I listened and I took action, and there was seriousness involved. There was certainty. Well, let's fast forward to today. I'm approaching. I don't want to get into too much specifics, but I'm approaching close to, probably in a year or so, it'd be close to $20 million in sales in those two businesses. Maybe a couple of little side businesses as well. Not profit, right? Revenue. Anyone who owns a business knows that doesn't mean that you've pocketed almost $20 million and you're sitting on a whole lot of cash, right? Sales, revenue. Okay. So let's look at this. Let's say I invested the money 2013, October 31st, Halloween 2013. It's now coming up to October of 2021. That's 8 years, almost $20 million. So I invested $25,000, and in return, I've generated approaching $20 million. It's probably somewhere between 15 and 20. Like it'll be, it might be around 17 and a bit. Okay. That's a pretty extraordinary return on investment. Wouldn't you agree? That's a pretty extraordinary return on investment. So when I finally invested in a coach, in a mentor, it was a symbol of seriousness. I paid attention, because when you pay attention. Now that's just one example. Another example is when I've hired gym instructors. I paid them, be in the gym. Okay, I show up. I've gone to workshops. I have a relationship coach to help me with my relationships. I invest in here's who I have here's my bench at the moment. I have a therapist who I meet with once a week on a Monday night at 9 p.m. Bali time, where I am at the moment. She lives in Austin, Texas. Because of the time difference, 9 p.m. Bali time for me is 9 p.m. Bali time on a Monday is her, I think, 8 a.m. Monday in Austin, Texas. I think that's what it is. So I pay her every week. I have a therapist. I also have a relationship coach, and I speak to my relationship coach, also a woman, and she helps me to improve my communication with my parents, with my brothers, with my partner, with my business partners, with my friends and acquaintances, with the staff who work for me, work with me. I pay her. I also go to a pretty expensive gym here in Bali, Indonesia, where I pay a personal trainer. I don't just pay for all of the group classes, but I also pay a personal trainer to work on some more specific things to do with flexibility. So there's also a cost to that. I'm also in a business mastermind where every Tuesday morning, Bali, Indonesia time, I get on a 1-hour call with a coach and group of other entrepreneurs, and we ask questions, and our business mentor answers the questions, and cumulatively as a group, we're kind of like knights of the round table. We all help each other and connect and support. And there's that. I'm also in a group, another group of just men. So it's kind of like a men's group, of which I pay an annual fee. And there are 2 in-person meetups around the world every year. Usually it's in Cancun, Mexico, or somewhere in the States. I've been in that group now for 7 or 8 years. I invest thousands of dollars into that. And they do these kind of once every 2 weeks, they do these virtual mastermind things where all the men get together and one of the men teaches something to do with their business or health of their life, and we all listen and then ask questions, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So this is costing me thousands of dollars to do this, right? And I'm choosing to do this because the return on investment is profound, because it holds me accountable. It holds me to a higher standard. I learn, I get supported, I push myself, I have others push me, I push others. It's fun, I'm learning, I'm growing. And the financial cost of joining those groups is considerable. It is. It's considerable. Like, add up all of that, like do the math. It's thousands of dollars. And it's absolutely cheap compared to the return on investment. It's pennies. I'm essentially putting in pennies and getting back dollars. That's how powerful the return on investment is. So again, like, even if you take the money part out of it, right? Even if we stop talking about dollars, right? Some people think it's a bit crude and crass to talk about money the whole time. Even if we take that off, what is the cost of you continuing to drink? Not financially, but to your health. Because you don't sleep well, you're overweight, your confidence. What's the cost to your confidence? What's the cost to your self-trust? Because you don't trust yourself anymore. What's the cost to your family? Because you're not excelling in your business, because you're only operating a 6 or 7 out of 10 instead of 8 or 9 out of 10. There's a very famous psychiatrist, Carl Jung. Was he Swedish or Swiss? I think he was Swedish. He has a quote: "There is no coming to consciousness without pain. There is no coming to consciousness without pain." Is it going to be painful for you? Is it going to feel painful for you to invest money into coaching? Maybe. Is it going to feel painful for you to finally quit drinking? Maybe. But one of the smartest men on the planet, Carl Jung, said there is no coming to consciousness without pain. So you ain't getting to consciousness anytime soon without a little bit of pain. And just like you go to the gym and you want to build a muscle, you've got to tear down the muscle. You've got to put the muscle through pain in order for it to repair and recover and get stronger. Things don't get easier. You just get stronger. Another famous psychiatrist, I guess, Sigmund Freud. Sigmund Freud. He says the goal of all life is death. Sounds pretty morbid, doesn't it? The goal of all life is death. You can think of that a few different ways. But I choose to think of it this way. We're all going to die. We're all heading to the same place. And the goal of life is death, right? So we're going to die. But how are we going to live before we die? How are we going to choose to live before we die? Are we going to choose a lifestyle of numbing ourselves with attractively packaged poison, with mediocre relationships, with mediocre connection to our kids and our wives and husbands and partners, with mediocre business performance, with like leaving stuff on the table, not fulfilling our potential? not picking up an instrument and learning how to play an instrument, not learning a language, not pushing yourself. Sigmund Freud also said, love and work, work and love, that's all there is. He says, love and work are the cornerstones of our humanness. We're supposed to love. We're supposed to work. But are you void of love at the moment? Are you holding back on your work? Or are you performing in a mediocre fashion? The longer you stay in inaction, the greater the cost. Take action. Say enough. Say I'm ready. Say let's go. Just do it. It's time. You've had enough time listening to this podcast. You've had enough time reading my emails. You've had enough time pondering this. We're already approaching the final quarter of this year, 2021. Another year's gone. Trust me, I look in the mirror and I go, damn, I've got so much more gray in my beard these days. I'm like, the salt and pepper beard is kind of won't be salt and pepper for much longer. It's just going to be full on salt. Father Time remains undefeated. And there's no coming to consciousness without pain. So it's going to be painful continuing to drink. And maybe it feels a little bit painful for you to finally say enough, invest in yourself, cough up your hard-earned cash and get some coaching and mentorship and solve this thing once and for all. But I'm telling you, the return on investment is just going to be 100-fold. It's insanity what consistent clarity and focus and energy and joy and fun can bring to your life. I mean, just scroll down the past episodes of this podcast and just like, I invite you, just click on one of those case studies that we put out there and listen to how people's lives are being transformed. You've been listening to them. Now take action. The action you can take is enrolling in Project 90. You know how to do it. There's a link in the show notes here. You can go to alcoholfreelifestyle.com/project90. You put your details in, you answer a few questions, you give us your phone number, and then at the scheduled time that you choose, at a convenient time that you choose, we call you. We talk to you about it. We listen to you. We see if you're a good candidate for it. You're right. It's not for everyone. But better to find out, right? Than just die wondering, stay in the status quo. Take action. If you want me to text it to you, if you're in the US on a mobile phone, you can text me at the number 44222. Just type in the word Project 90 and I'll text you back a calendar link. You can fill in the calendar there. I think it's easier to do it on a desktop computer myself. So if you remember alcoholfreelifestyle.com/schedule, you can go there, apply to get on a call. We'll talk to you, see if it's for you. We'll help you. We'll support you. Yeah, it's going to cost you. It'll cost you to join. Absolutely, it will. Not as much as what it's cost you to not join. Cost you a hell of a lot more not to join. Health, finances, relationships, joy. Take action. Thanks for listening. A little bit more tough love this episode, wasn't it? Not so sunshine and rainbows. Some personalities will appreciate this type of episode. Some personalities appreciate the push. Other personalities might be listening to me now going, well, James has gone a bit dark. I'm not sure I like this. I might go over to somewhere else, or I might just leave altogether. You just lost a listener, James. That's okay. I'd rather you take some form of action and go and get help elsewhere if you choose not to do it with me and with our organization. I'm rooting for you. I'm supporting you. I want you to solve this thing. And I'm willing to lose some people if it means you'll go somewhere else and get the support. That's fine. That's a win. So a bit of a tough love one. Hope it supports. Look forward to talking to you. I'm here to support you. Ready whenever you are. But let me give you a little secret. You're ready now. So stop the procrastination and take action. Look forward to connecting with you. See you. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I want to load you up with some free stuff. If you look in the show description, there's a link there to get my guide, which is the Alcohol Freedom Formula Guide. And in that guide, I will walk you through the process and system for successfully reducing or quitting alcohol. It's the same system and process that I give to my clients inside of Project 90. And if you would like to get your hands on that guide, you can click the link in the description part of this episode, or you can go to alcoholfreelifestyle.com/guide. Likewise, if you would like to be considered for Project 90 to join our community and get some accountability, some coaching, and have fun, achieve some goals over at least 90 days with our help and support, then you're invited to schedule a complimentary coaching call with one of my coaches. You can do that by clicking the link in the show description or going to alcoholfreelifestyle.com/schedule. Now, Project 90 is for over 30s only, and it's really for people who are ready to get long-term power over alcohol. You don't have to quit forever, but you will have to quit for at least 90 days with our support. Just a reminder, 95% of my content is free and plastered all over the internet. If you just Google James Swanwick and the word alcohol, you'll find that. For those of you who want additional support, if you want coaching, fun, accountability, if you realize that you can't do this on your own or you just plain don't want to, then I invite you to schedule that call and we can talk about if Project 90 is for you. If you would like to take some of my supplements, swanvitality.com is the website. I'll put a link in the show notes as well. I have a liver support product called Loving Liver, which I designed and specially formulated to help remove toxins from your liver after years of alcohol consumption. Again, there's a link in the show description. We've also got a green powder there, which turns into a green juice filled with amazing ingredients to support you and give you energy throughout the day. And there's also a magnesium product, which I take every night to help me prepare for sleep and to sleep through the night. So there's a few options there. Lastly, if this episode or the show in general has helped you or supported you in any way, I would so appreciate it if you would write a review. It really does help the show climb the rankings and expose the show to people who don't yet know about us. So if this show has benefited you in any way and you feel compelled to pay it forward, just writing a short little review, hopefully a nice one, will be so appreciated, and I will thank you immensely. Lastly, if you'd like to talk to me about anything at all, feel free to send me an email at james@alcoholfreelifestyle.com. I do read and respond to every email. And you can also follow me on Instagram at James Swanwick. Send me a message there. And I look forward to connecting with you soon. Catch you on the next one.